I'm on the web. I'm on the web. Yeah, wah, wah, wah.
Yo, what is up, web fam? This is the webcam. I'm Cam, and that's Webster. We're still doing that.
Yo, what's up? I'm Webster. AKA JJ Tip, AKA Lil Pump. So today we're gonna talk about a few things. I know you guys hated the last podcast, so we're gonna switch it up a little bit.
No, I appreciate the people who liked the last one. I think we should start with that. Is the issues with episode 2? So there was a lot of like audio problems that I couldn't really fix.
My fault.
Yeah, because he had.
I was on my tablet because I was just done watching porn before starting the podcast. Right. I was too lazy to get on the PC, and I had to use my tablet to talk on it. But I'm sorry, guys, about that. I just didn't want to get any, I didn't want to get blue balls. So
yeah, so I can understand people not wanting to watch it because of the audio inconsistencies. But hopefully from this episode onwards, they'll all sound the same because we're going to be using the same equipment and everything, same setup. So yeah, if you didn't watch episode 2, I'm sorry.
You guys are
audio
stupid.
issues.
You guys are stupid if you didn't watch episode 2.
Maybe we shouldn't do that. Stupid. We shouldn't insult people. But we did talk about some interesting stuff in episode 2. If you ever get a chance, maybe you want to go back and watch it.
Yeah, go watch it. It's because people didn't watch it because of the spoilers. That's why I didn't watch it.
That's also possible. People maybe didn't watch it because they didn't watch Chucky
makes a lot of sense.
Didn't want to spoil No Way Home.
Okay. Anyways, on this podcast, right, we're going to talk about our favorite things, pretty much, all right? So, pretty much, we're going to talk about our favorite movies, our favorite video games, our favorite TV shows, our favorite books, our favorite pornos, our favorite girls, our favorite drugs. So, we're going to start out with our favorite movies right now.
Okay.
One of my favorite movies of all time is All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Really?
No.
Wait, why not? Why are you changing your mind?
I don't know. That was just the first movie that popped into my.
So it's not, or it is?
No, it's not. It's not. That was just a joke. Of course, we're not gonna joke around anymore. I don't do that type of shit. I don't joke around the podcast.
Yeah, this podcast isn't funny. We only take it seriously.
We take it very seriously here. So, basically, when I think about good movies, right, I think about movies that I enjoy watching with my friends, right? So, a movie that pops into my head as a favorite movie, at least to watch with my friends, is Superbad. All right?
Yeah.
Superbad, only because we watched that movie a lot in high school and because we can relate to a lot on that movie. Superbad bitches give me McLovin.
Right.
Anyways, that's one of my favorite movies. I also like the movie Kingsman, right? If you guys ever watched that movie, go check it out. It's actually pretty good. If you like action-packed movies.
But you're saying Kingsman is one of your favorite movies of all time?
Yes. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Okay.
On God.
No, it's a good movie. I'm not like judging you. I
know you're judging me, but that's
what
fine.
we're supposed to be talking about. Is our favorite.
That's cool. I know you're judging me. Anyways, Spider-Man 2, another great movie. I know a lot of people put this on their list as their favorite movies of all time, or at least favorite Spider-Man movie of all time, right?
Yeah.
But for a reason, and I'm not just saying Spider-Man 2 is my favorite movie because of the popular, like, what people think and shit. Yeah, popular opinion. I'm just saying that because it's a good ass movie. That fucking action in the movie is crazy. The CGI, it's still amazing for today, and just like the amount of like the storytelling of that movie is also good with Doc Ock. Doc Ock is one of the best villains in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
All right. So I like that movie a lot. If we're talking about animated movies, I mean, the SpongeBob movie, I guess, because that's like movie I grew up with. You know,
Yeah, I
fucking
feel
love
like
that movie. So
nostalgia
many,
is a big factor in a lot of these.
yeah, so many like, yeah, yeah, it really is. But it's because those movies just never really get old to you. You know, because
Yeah,
like a lot of the things back then are different to now. Like you look at a movie like the SpongeBob movie, right? And then you look at a movie like the fucking recent SpongeBob movie that I didn't even watch, I guess.
Sponge on the Run.
Yeah, whatever that's called. They're different, especially with the comedy, with the you know,
The show's not made for you anymore. That's the thing.
pretty much, yeah. It's not
Like
like
it
my
keeps the current seasons of SpongeBob keep trying to like bring back nostalgia stuff so older people will watch it, but it's still made for kids.
yeah.
Like bring
That's
back
why I
Bubble
kind
Bass and like all that stuff, just like characters from the early seasons, just
yeah.
references, so
I
old
mean,
people will watch it.
what's your favorite movie of all time? Since like I'm like taking over this.
Well, we're doing this like one at a time, so it shouldn't really be a competition.
It is to me
My favorite
now.
movies of all time. It's very hard for me to think of that. Um, I mean, if we're talking animated versus like live action, most of my favorite live action movies are probably superhero movies. So I'd say probably Avengers: Infinity War is up there for me, and that's like a pretty recent movie. No,
Just go on, just go on.
okay. Avengers: Infinity War, Spider-Man 3, one of my favorite movies. I wasn't judging you like this, all right? I was just joking.
Wait.
No, all right.
There was something in my eye,
Avengers:
man. Like,
Infinity War, Spider-Man 3. Um, what's another one?
hmm.
I don't know. I can't really think of a lot off the top of my head. Just
I mean, you
most
have a lot of posters up there. You know, like we can probably like imagine. Are you a fan of the Deadpool movie?
the Deadpool movies are good. Yeah, I wouldn't say they're like my favorite movies of all time, but they're good.
The first Deadpool is very good.
I think they're both pretty good.
Second one, no, the second one's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Well,
second one is
Guardians of the Galaxy is one of my probably up there. I don't know. When we talk about my favorite live action movies, it just evolves into
Spider-Man,
favorite MCU movies and stuff like Marvel movies.
MC, all that shit. Yeah,
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 but if we're talking animated movies,
yeah. No, that's different.
Shrek 2, my favorite
Okay.
animated movie. SpongeBob movie for nostalgia, and it's like just another one of my favorite movies.
Barnyard.
No, not Barnyard. I'd say probably The Incredibles, one of my favorite Pixar movies. No.
Yeah. Now,
It,
tell me
it,
why The
it,
Incredibles is a good movie.
what?
Tell me why The Incredibles is a good movie.
Oh, because Elastigirl is like thick as hell, right? And
That's true.
that's why I like the
Actually,
movie. Nothing
that's
else
a good
about it.
point.
Like the
That's
animation
a good point.
sucks, the story sucks, the action sucks, the characters suck, but Elastigirl's
Yeah.
thick. So the
Yeah.
second one,
Yeah.
even worse. But she's also thick. So
Yeah. But the second one's a lot better because you have more scenes with her.
yeah, because she's kind of the main character in the second one.
Yeah,
So second
pretty
one is
much.
better. Yeah, because Elastigirl thick.
Yeah,
I hope this changed your opinion
it
on The
did actually.
Incredibles.
Yeah. Um, Pixar movies, you know, were always my favorite. At least the older ones. Where they're not like sequels of original movies that they came out with, like fucking Cars, you know, like Toy Stories and all that shit. Like those were good if they were just to have like the first movie, then the sequel.
Yeah.
Besides Cars, you know.
Yeah, the
But
classic Pixar catalog from like Toy Story to I'd say probably like Toy
all the way
Story
to
3 maybe is like the
yeah,
classics.
yeah.
Cuz like
Hmm.
after Toy Story 3 is when they started like not making as good ones, I feel like. And then they just kept making like weird
That's
like
when they came out with
prequels
the
and
movie Brave,
sequels.
and then that's when it fucked it up
Yeah,
for good.
Brave ruined Pixar. Sorry
Yeah,
guys.
pretty much. And of course, like those older movies, Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 was the best ending ever. Fuck you guys if you don't think if that's true, you know. Fuck Toy Story 4.
Toy Story 4 was like super unnecessary, but it's also not a terrible way to end it. Like obviously Toy Story 3 is a much better ending and should have been the
I'm
ending.
being real honest with you. I paid good money to go watch Toy Story 4, right? And I fell asleep during the movie theater. And that shit, you can't be able to do that, you know, like there's only two movies that I fell asleep on, right? Toy Story 4 and the movie Shaft, all right?
I've never even heard of that. Is that the movie
Shaft,
with Samuel
Shaft
L. Jackson?
yes, Shaft and Eternals as well, actually, a little bit.
No, Eternals is okay.
Eternals was okay.
Like
All right.
very just okay.
It was just okay.
Okay, so I feel like that's enough movie talk. What about cartoons, I guess?
Cartoons. I mean, obviously the cartoons that I grew up with, but if I have to say my favorite cartoon of all time,
Like top 5. What are your top 5 favorite
okay,
cartoons?
let's do this. Number one, SpongeBob. Sorry, number one, SpongeBob. Number two, I would say Regular Show. Right, it's pretty high up there. You know,
Yeah.
I really like that show. Number three would have to be Adventure Time. Number four would have to be uh, shit. This is besides anime, right?
Yeah, anime is not included in this. That's a separate
Okay,
thing.
it's cartoons and shit.
Yeah, American cartoons. I can't really provide an anime thing because I've never watched any. So
number four, I'd probably it's pretty much like the cartoons that I've like really enjoyed for the last couple of years. The thing is that I don't watch a lot of cartoons to this day. I watch everything that's like fucking on Adult Swim right now, or fucking I watch like TBS or some shit.
yeah,
Just whatever's on
I
there.
feel like we should have wrote this down before we started. Like wrote down our lists.
Honestly,
So we
yeah.
wouldn't have to like think about it.
There's a lot of thinking to this.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of empty space where we're just
there's
sitting here in silence thinking.
there's my top three. All right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Top five is kind of hard to like figure out. But that's my top three.
I think for me, SpongeBob is number 1. Number 2 is also Regular Show.
Okay.
Number 3, see, the thing with Adventure Time, is that I really liked it like the first few seasons, and I stopped watching it after that. With Regular Show, I kept watching it until the end. Adventure Time just kind of fell off for me because it started to like...
So it's not what you're saying. It's not in your top five.
No, it's probably not my top 5, but I still like it a lot. Yeah, SpongeBob, Regular Show.
Oh my god, my camera.
Your camera froze.
Yeah, you can tell by the look. Okay.
Blue.
I tried to like fucking what is it? I tried to fucking because there was an alarm clock.
SpongeBob, Regular Show. I'd probably put Gravity Falls in my top 5, but I don't know where exactly. I don't know if it's number 3, but it's probably in my top 5. And I haven't even watched Gravity Falls since it ended. Like after it ended, I have not watched a single Gravity Falls episode. So I don't know about that. Let me think. I'd say Jimmy Neutron's probably in my top 5.
I really like Jimmy Neutron. I just wouldn't say it's my top 5.
And then last pick, I'd say I'm more of a Nickelodeon fan than a Cartoon Network fan. So like a lot of my favorite cartoons are probably on Nickelodeon. So I'd probably say like either Danny Phantom or Fairly Odd Parents is number 5.
Wait, you're more of a Cartoon Network guy?
No, I'm more of a Nickelodeon guy, probably.
I'm more of a Cartoon Network guy, to be honest with you.
Like I didn't watch like in the early 2000s. I didn't really watch Cartoon Network as much as I watched Nickelodeon. So like a lot of my favorite cartoons are like early 2000s
Yeah, like
Nick shows.
we got our fucking nostalgia cartoons like Annoying Orange, right?
And then I started watching Cartoon Network more around the time that Adventure Time and Regular Show and like Flapjack and Chowder were on.
Yeah,
I
those
probably
are
put
good
Flapjack
ones.
and Chowder in top 10.
I probably yeah, me too. Those are shows that I grew up with.
Flapjack and Chowder were like the building blocks for like a lot of
cartoons,
lot of
like Regular
early
Show and Adventure Time.
yeah, a lot of Cartoon Network shows that followed that. So
Yeah.
good shit.
Obviously, when I was like fucking little, like all I would watch was like Sesame Street or Caillou or like Marty or shit like that. Fucking Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, of course. Shout out to Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. All you fans out there.
I was really into Phineas and Ferb when that came out, but
Oh yeah.
it's kind of
Phineas
like a
and Ferb.
non-show.
Phineas and Ferb. What was it? Fish hooks.
Phineas and Ferb is probably also in my top 10, but like it's such a non-show because every episode has like pretty much the same like plot where it's like they build something, Perry fights Doofenshmirtz, and then that destroys the thing that Phineas and Ferb build. It's like every episode has the same plot, so it gets kind of repetitive, but like it's still a good show. I like the music that they have in the Phineas and Ferb.
Honestly, if I had like a list, if I can put like I know these aren't cartoons, but if we were talking about like fucking TV shows on Disney and Nick, that'd be different.
Well, that's what
bro.
we're talking about. That's the next topic is TV shows that are not animated.
All right. Can we talk? Okay, because this has to be a separate list, right? Like kids' TV shows is a separate list.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so this is my top 5 favorite kids' TV shows, right? Number 1, iCarly. Number 2, Victorious. Number 3, Zack and Cody. Number 4, Wizards of Waverly Place. And number 5, Sweet Life on Deck.
I feel like
Which makes sense.
That's pretty agreeable. I would definitely have Drake and Josh as my number 1 though.
Oh shit! Yeah, Drake and Josh, and fucking that's the classifier.
Ned's
Whatever.
Declassified and Drake and
Fucking.
Josh. Those are
Oh shit.
those are my
Okay.
top 5. Corey
Actually, let me. I'm trying to remember some of them.
Corey
That is not my top 5. That's not my top 5. iCarly, Drake and Josh, Victorious. This just fucks everything up. Fucking Zack and Cody. Zack and Cody 2. See, like that's when it's there we go. That's my list.
Well, see, I think my like TV shows, like TV kid sitcoms, my list would be a lot different because I didn't really watch a lot of like the early 2010s kid sitcoms. Like I mean, iCarly came out in like 2008 or something, so I did watch some of that. But like I didn't really watch Victorious that much or like anything past that really. So like Zack and Cody, Drake and Josh, Ned's Declassified, a lot of the early 2000s sitcoms from like Nick and Disney are the ones that I were watching.
I remember Zoe 101, but like really like big.
Zoe 101 is meh. It's mid.
Mid.
Drake and Josh is the GOAT.
A tier. Probably S.
Yeah.
TV shows in general. We're talking about TV shows, okay?
Dude, I don't even watch TV.
Me neither. What? If I were to
Like
name...
like after I stopped watching Cartoon Network and like cartoons and like stuff like that, I have not watched television really. Like I don't watch TV shows. Like I'll watch stuff on Disney Plus or Netflix or whatever, but I don't watch TV shows.
I don't have top 5.
Chucky is number 1 because that's the only TV show I've watched recently.
Right now, yeah. Squid Game.
Well, we're not counting streaming, are we?
I mean, we're talking about TV shows. Okay.
I don't know. Fuck this category. Nobody cares.
Okay, nobody cares about this category.
Yeah.
Let's move on to something that everybody cares about. Video games.
Yeah, at least I'd hope everyone watching this cares about video games.
Every PS2 game is the best video game in the world. Every single one.
Well, one
right.
thing that viewers who don't really know a lot about us should know is that we're more into like, I'd say we're more into like classic games, right? Like we don't play a whole lot of modern stuff. We mainly play like
I play
classic
a lot
stuff.
of. I play 2K a lot.
Okay, well he plays 2K, but
Yeah,
I play Fortnite and Minecraft and
he plays.
Among Us.
I mean, to be real honest with you, if I were to say my favorite game of all time, it would have to be Minecraft.
That's fair.
You know?
That's honestly a fair answer.
Because I've been a fan of Minecraft for years, just like everybody else has.
Yeah, it's one of those games that just will never fall off. Like
Pretty much.
it was super like cringy for a while, and then it came back, and now like everybody loves it no matter what.
It comes back all the time.
Yeah.
It's gonna keep coming back. I never really liked Fortnite at all. I tried it
No. I only played Fortnite like twice.
Same. I played it like 4 times or something like that. I don't fucking know.
The first time I played it was the Avengers Endgame mode where you played as Thanos. So like I didn't play like the regular. I didn't play the regular Fortnite.
Did you get to play as Thanos when you were playing it?
Yeah, I did. And I was like, wow, this is cool. And then I died. So, and then the second time, I think I played like a normal match, and it was like really boring, and then I got sniped. So,
nice.
Just not really the game for me. I'm not like super into like shooter games, but
shooters
like,
are not that bad.
I can play them if I'm playing with other people, but it's not something that I like.
I feel like
play by myself.
We're talking about third-person shooter. I mean, you would have to be a fan of like Uncharted, right?
I like Uncharted, yeah.
Yeah, and that's third-person shooter. Storytell game.
Yeah, I can play third-person shooters. It's just not something that I like. It's not a genre of games that I'm drawn to, really.
Some of my favorite.
I was drawn to Uncharted because of the story, not really the gameplay.
Some of my favorite shooter games is probably like Borderlands. I fucking love Borderlands, especially the second one. I fucking played that on PC like for hours while you know, of course I was in my anatomy class at the time. You know, just ignoring all that shit. Anyways, fucking what else? Third person shooter. Think.
Halo.
Halo's another good one. I just never really grew up with Halo, but it's good. I played it.
Yeah, I have an original Xbox with Halo and Halo 2. And when I was in high school, people were sending around this email that had a download to Halo, like the first Halo on PC, and it had like it had online support. So what we would do is we would play it in class. So in my computer class, me and my friend Justin, we would play Halo when we were done with our work, and then people in the class would join online and play it with us. So Halo is always fun. Like the multiplayer in Halo is always fun.
I love Halo.
Yeah.
Fucking Resident Evil. That's a good game. I used to play I think it was the fifth one that I had on PS3. It was like I remember having it was like my only like game that I had for the PS3 that had like the red case, because it was one of those like fucking greatest hits PS3.
Yeah.
And that was pretty fun to play that. Of course, I grew up. I think I grew up playing a lot of licensed games when I was younger.
Yeah,
just
so
because
did I.
you know I was like I fucking played on PS2 all the time.
And I still play a lot of licensed games.
They're not good, okay, but they were good at the time.
No,
only because
there's still a lot of them that are good. Like the PS2, GameCube, Xbox era of licensed games was probably the best era for licensed games because they were mostly good. I feel like a lot of the ones that I've played, I remember, are
mostly good compared to now, because we don't really have a lot of licensed games, and if they do come out, they're actually kind of shitty. So
yeah, and they make the ones that they've been making are just, they're not as good, and they also remake ones that were good, like with Battle for Bikini Bottom. Although Rehydrated is nowhere near as good as the original, still.
Fucking
in my opinion.
Yeah. You see, like it's kind of hard to figure out. I mean, Crash, of course, but we already talked about that on like the first podcast.
Not too much. I don't think we really did. Well, we're super into like 3D platformers and just like platformers in general.
Yeah.
So
Super
I feel like
Mario.
if we were asked like our top 5 games of all time,
Okay,
favorite
top
games,
5
they're all
games.
going to be
Okay.
platformers for me. So
They are mostly going to be platformers for me. So, Minecraft. We're going to have to put it to number 1. Okay.
yeah, it's fair.
Surprisingly, well, no, not surprisingly. I mean, the Insane Trilogy.
That's
Second
fair.
one. Insane Trilogy. People are going to come at me for saying that because
Are
they
you saying Insane Trilogy like the whole package or one game from Insane
the
Trilogy?
entire thing. We're
That's
just
fair.
talking about it. Yeah. I mean, I know it's like unfair because like there's 3 games in one, but fuck it, who
It's
cares?
in one package. It's one
Yeah,
disc.
yeah. Fucking
Also, you can only pick one game per franchise for this top 5. So
yeah. So this is like not talking about franchises. The thing is that like it's hard
it's very nostalgia driven.
because
When you think of your favorite games of all time, you're only going to think of games that you've played when you were a kid and not recently. Because like
because here's
I feel like Spider-Man on PS4 and PS5, like I feel like that would be in my top 5 of all time. But since I didn't play it as a kid, I don't think of it that way.
let's just throw in Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man's
Right.
definitely in my top 10 if it's not in my top 5.
Um, Probably Mario Odyssey, but like I wouldn't say that's in my top 5. To be honest, but like that's kind of one of the games that I thought about.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's really
I
good
grew up
game.
with wrestling games, but like if I had to pick one and just one, it would have to be one of like the SmackDown versus Raw, but like the oldies, like the ones like probably like 2007 because that was like the first one that I got in. That
Yeah,
was a fun game. I still play that game today, honestly. Like sometimes I get on my like PS2 emulator and I fucking just play that game for fun.
yeah. Well, that's something that
Uh,
I do a lot. Is I go back to and replay games that I had already played.
yeah, you
And
just
a lot
play.
of people are like confused as to why I do that. It's just
The
like
thing with
I just like to replay
SVR,
games that I like, you know?
the thing that with SVR games that are a lot different than now, right? And I mean, in general, you'll find this with like okay, like when games from back then and like PS2 eras, when you buy it, you get the entire thing. All right,
Yeah.
it's like the entire package in one. There's
Yeah.
no microtransactions
Like the
or any
game is
shit like that.
done.
The game is done, and you can play the game for months pretty much
Yeah.
without because there's so much content in there. We're talking about if we're talking about SVR, there's GM mode that's literally unlimited. Like you get to GM mode is basically where you get to act like a general manager and you get to make the wrestling matches, okay? Like you would make the shows and shit like that. Season mode, you would have to play it as if you want to complete the game 100%, you would have to play it through every single wrestler's story. There's like a story mode for every single wrestler. Um fucking what else is there? There's like pay-per-views that you can play. There's like fucking the wrestling itself, you like that's unlimited too. Like all that shit is like you get the entire package, right?
This is
Games
true.
now, if we're talking about wrestling games now, that's you don't really get a lot. If you
Yeah.
want more, you have to fucking pay like $20 to fucking play something else.
But you
So
also get the custom wrestlers, so
you get the custom wrestlers in fucking SVR.
oh,
If
okay.
you're good at making them, I mean you wouldn't be able to download them from online because you of course you're lazy. You want to fucking get someone that's already been made. But if you're good at making them, I remember making SpongeBob and Patrick on that shit. Right, that shit was so hard to make, but it came out so good at the time. So you know, it's just like it's what I'm saying. Like I what I appreciate about back then is that games were just more complete. Like you just get everything from them, and
Yeah.
nowadays it's like for example like Spider-Man, like the fucking like the side stories that you would have to buy, like the fucking bundles and shit, like
The
that
DLC.
yeah that shit
DLC is just like commonplace in the gaming industry now, but Spider-Man was a finished game when it came out.
yeah
Like the DLC is just a continuation of the story. It's not like you need to get the DLC to know what happens, you know. I mean, you do, but I can't explain this very well. but it's like it's not a necessary component. It's just if you liked the game, here's more of it. It's also something that they have to do because DLC sells most of the time. So
pretty much, it's just more money.
Yeah, but it wasn't like they were adding the DLC to like fix issues because there weren't any issues with the game really.
Fuck all that shit. But it's cool. It's cool. It's fine. You know,
I
nowadays
feel like,
people will find any way to make money. I mean, you look at online servers and shit like that, right? Fucking Xbox when they started Xbox Live and shit, they just make money off of doing absolutely.
Yeah. I feel like back in the PS2, GameCube, Xbox era, I feel like a lot of games had more development time. Because the gaming industry wasn't as big as it is now. So like there wasn't always like a rush to like get stuff out at a certain point or like before people don't care anymore, before the holiday season or whatever. It's not saying that there aren't rushed games from that era, but like I feel like generally most of it was like had more time to be worked on and just like came out as a better product. And there wasn't like DLC or microtransactions or like
it was a bang for your buck, you know.
Like there was no update, so like if there was stuff wrong with the game, that is forever in the game.
Pretty much, yeah. So they had to like work on it like a lot. They would have to play through it a lot. You see games nowadays, there's glitches, there's bugs, there's all that shit. You know why? Because they don't fucking test the game that much before they fucking release the shit. They just wait for people to have fucking concerns and shit. Like fucking Cyberpunk and shit, you know? That shit ran horribly on PS4. Like that shit was dropping so many frames on PS4, right? And they released it like that.
That game was announced in like 2017 or some shit.
They did. They had a lot of time to like still build that game, right? But I honestly feel like at the same time it was rushed, and you could tell it was rushed because of all those like fucking lagging and shit, you know?
Yeah. I think the most recent game that I like immediately knew was either rushed or like they were just planning to add in a bunch of content after the game came out was the Avengers game. Because like when that game came out, there was like there really wasn't any alternate costumes for the characters. You had like different colors and not really a lot of alternate costumes. The story was like fine, like it was okay. And then after the story, you just have to grind online with people and just like get better items. And then now they've added like a whole bunch of costumes and like new story missions and characters and stuff. And like, it's like, why didn't you just have that stuff in the game when it came out?
Pretty much, man.
Like, I know the whole point is to, like, keep adding content so people will keep playing the game, especially for Avengers, since it's, like, a very online-centric game. After you finish the story, at least, it's very, like, you must play online. But it's like, I don't care that much. That's why the Spider-Man game and, like, the new Guardians of the Galaxy game that came out, which I still haven't played, that's why those are so much better, because they're just single-player story experiences, and all of the content is in the game. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy launched with a bunch of different alternate costumes for all of the characters, like real alternate costumes, not just recolors. And Avengers had no alternate costumes really when it came out. So it's like they should be focusing more on single player stuff and not like online stuff, you know, I guess.
Because the online, like, I don't even think a lot of people even want to play online for that game. I mean, it's the main attraction for it is the single player and the story mode and all that jazz.
With something like a Marvel game, the main attraction should be the story.
Yeah.
And like the characters.
Dude, speak of which,
that's not saying that online games there's an issue with online games, because I love playing games with other people and like playing games online. Like I'd say I prefer that now over single player stuff.
If we're talking like a Marvel game, obviously that would be better just playing it alone anyways. You know what I'm saying? It's like fucking having Spider-Man online. Like it's weird, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's not a problem with it, but like say like there was something just fucked up about like it just messes with the story or some shit. I don't know. So, yeah. And we're talking about complete games and shit like that. We're talking about like unfinished stuff. Mortal Kombat 11 is not an unfinished game, right? But if we're comparing it to something like the game is great. I think the gameplay, but we look at like the limited amount of characters that we have. There's a huge roster to that game, but then you compare it to a game like Armageddon.
Yeah.
That's like a fucking like rows and rows of characters.
Well, it's also
right?
with like Mortal Kombat 11 and modern games in general is there's more of a focus on graphics and like character models, and those take up a lot of space and like take up a lot of time for developers. So like they can't make a roster like Armageddon with like fucking 100 characters or
They can
however.
make a maybe a port of the game, obviously, because that'd be easy to make, but not like the
Yeah.
fucking entire thing.
I don't know. Mortal Kombat 11 I think was pretty mid, to be honest.
Story was kind of bad.
The story was kind of bad. I feel like the gameplay is slower than MKX, and
MKX was very fun. I think
MKX is probably my favorite Mortal Kombat game. I also like MK9 a lot, but
I think MKX is my favorite Mortal Kombat game.
MKX is
Only
that was when I was like the most engaged with the series, because I played MK9 like a few years after it came out, so I didn't grow up playing a lot of Mortal Kombat.
Because Armageddon would have been my favorite Mortal Kombat game, but the only thing that throws me off, and this is a really big thing in the gameplay, is the fucking 3D arenas.
Yeah.
I was never a huge fan of them.
No, I don't like that either. I'm glad that they changed that.
Mm-hmm. It's a good thing, man. Fucking, I don't know.
Did we even give our top fives yet?
I kind of did, in a way.
All right,
it was hard to
my
figure
top
out,
five. See if I can think of this off the top of my head. It's really hard for me to rank games and just rank things in general because like I like a lot of things equally. But like again, one game per franchise. So Crash 2 is my favorite Crash game. I'm not going to say Insane Trilogy. I'm just going to say Crash 2.
Okay.
Battle for Bikini Bottom, the original version, not rehydrated. Sly 2. Probably say Jack and Daxter. Jack 2, probably. And, shit, what else? You know what? Fuck it. Skylanders is in there. Let's do it. I'm telling you, it's nostalgia driven.
It really is. Those type of games were actually pretty fun. Well, at the time, because they were like fucking, whoa, you get the toy, whoa, you can.
Yeah, well,
Platform
I
thing,
feel like that's something
that
I'd want to talk about like as its own topic in another episode is Skylanders in general, because like it's something that I like feel like would be interesting to talk about.
Disney Infinity.
Yeah, and just Toys to Life in general. We could talk about that because I also have experienced Disney Infinity. So, yeah, it's very nostalgia driven. Like most of those games I played as a kid.
You know what we should do? What's your top 5 favorite video game consoles of all time?
Top 5 all time.
Number one, we'll have to agree with you. Like you know.
Number 1, what?
Yeah, PlayStation 2.
Oh yeah, PlayStation 2 is probably my number 1.
Number 2 for me would have to be the Wii.
Okay.
Now it's kind of crazy, but I really did enjoy playing the Wii at the time.
I'd say number 2 for me probably be. Well, are we counting like I can have another console?
Handhelds.
I can have another console from the same console generation.
What do you mean?
Like,
yeah, you could do that.
Okay, so like PS2 number 1, GameCube.
Yeah. Okay, I knew you were gonna say that. Number 1 PS2, number 2 Wii, number 3 GameCube, number 4 would have to be PSP because I grew up with that shit, and number 5 Number 5 would have to be honestly the DS. Fuck it.
Okay, I'm gonna change mine up a little bit. So yeah, number 1 is definitely PS2. Number 2, I'm gonna say the Wii instead of the GameCube because the Wii can play GameCube games, so it's kind of like an upgraded GameCube. So yeah, PS2, Wii. I probably have the original Xbox in my top 5 because like that's my favorite console generation.
I had it, but like it wasn't like.
PS3 is my favorite from that generation.
Mhm.
And then I don't know if I want to go like super modern and put like the Switch or the PS5 on there, but that's probably would be one of my picks for 5. I also really like the PS4, but like the PS5 is like a similar case with the Wii where it's like it can play PS4 games, so it's kind of like the same
The
thing.
Switch is alright. The Switch. The problem with the Switch is that it's like the fucking. To me personally, I don't like the way it's built.
No,
And I
the,
know
the
that's
Switch
like,
is probably not my top 5. I'd say my 5th is probably
it's
PS5, but
it's built kind of gross.
I
You
don't
know,
I don't play my Switch enough to like say that it's in my top 5.
I don't even play it portably enough. You know, like and it's
Yeah.
supposed to be used that way mostly, but I don't even do that at all. I just play it on dock because that's like I do not like the way that like fucking tablet thing is built. Like it's fucking everything about it feels cheap.
Yeah.
PS4 would probably be somewhere up there too. When did it come out?
PS4 came out in
About
2013.
Yeah, it came out about 8 years ago.
Came out on my birthday in 2013.
I got it day one.
I did not.
Luckily,
I got it
when it
during Christmas that year.
when it wasn't fucking selling out and shit. I don't even think the PS4 sold out on that time. I mean, probably it probably did, but I don't. Not as much as fucking PS5, where they can't get a global pandemic.
Global pandemic. Global pandemic.
Global pandemic. Global
What
pandemic.
else? What else? Favorite things.
Food.
Favorite food. Yeah.
What's your top 5 favorite food? Number 1, cereal.
Chicken nuggets.
Pizza.
No, pizza is probably.
I'd say pizza is
one.
my number 1.
Yeah.
Pizza.
we're
I'm always
gamers,
down for
so-
pizza. Pizza, then goes chicken nuggets, then goes
Yeah,
burger,
chicken nuggets, burger,
then goes burger,
taco,
tacos, burrito.
yeah,
There we go. That's all. Honestly, that's the fucking gamer food right there.
yeah,
That's all gamer food.
yeah. Crack,
Crack,
cocaine, weed,
cocaine, weed,
yeah, all that
marijuana.
shit. I eat all of it.
Thing. Weed, marijuana.
Anyway, I think we're gonna wrap it up now.
Yeah.
Little bit shorter than it needs to
Usual, but you know, we had to come up with something.
be. Yeah, we don't really like. Just for future reference, we don't really plan a lot of these episodes that far in advance.
We should, but it's all cool, you know.
So
it's all talk, you know. It's all talk.
we're just talking. So yeah, make sure you follow the webcam on Twitter and Instagram. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure you follow on Spotify. If you're listening on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, make sure you follow all that shit. Subscribe on YouTube. Our socials are also somewhere. I'm Single Cell. That's JJ.
I'm Webster. Or JJ Tip.
You're not. Your name's not Webster. Sorry, guys.
Anyways,
The
guys,
truth is revealed.
we're going ghost.
Yep, we're going ghost. I'm on
Peace
the web.
out. I'm on the web.
Bye. See you next week.
Bye.
I'm on the web.